Hello, I'm Andrea Fuentes, the director for LA Opera Connects, the Community Engagement and Learning Office at LA Opera, and I'm joined by Christopher Koelsch, the president and CEO of LA Opera, and we are here today to discuss the upcoming season's production of Donizetti's Lucia di Lammermoor. The first question I think I would have for you is, can you tell me a little bit about the production in general and what Simon Stone has brought to it?
Sure. I'm a big theater fan in addition to being a big music fan, and I had the incredible good fortune of seeing some of Simon Stone's theatrical work. And what I reflected in seeing Simon's work, he seemed like an ideal artist to bring into the world of opera. And then in a conversation with the Metropolitan Opera, we came together for this idea of what if we invited Simon to take on, frankly, what is one of the most harrowing tales in the repertory. He seemed like really an ideal choice for this piece. One of the most beautiful and most moving parts of experiencing an opera is connecting with those centuries of experiences and finding within that a kernel of something that is so resonant with contemporary society. You know, Simon has made an aesthetic decision to always make sure that we're in dialogue with the piece, so that what Donizetti wrote in the 19th century, his legacy, is as contemporary as anything you could see in a theater, in a movie theater today. Lucia is set in the world of a crumbling empire and of men losing power and of imposing the anxiety about that loss of power on a woman. So when he was looking for contemporary resonances with that story, he decided to set it in the American Rust Belt, a once glorious part of the American dream that had fallen on hard times. And once he mapped the story of Lucia onto that, it actually ended up being deeply resonant.
For many of us who have seen Lucia over and over again, we're used to thinking of her in the 17th century in Scotland, in these castles with these beautiful sets and all of these things that are familiar to us. For those of us who are used to seeing those things, what would you say if somebody says, I miss those traditional aspects?
I think traditional is a funny word here, right? Because these are masterpieces that only live in performance. And any act of staging the performance is an act of interpretation. And so when I think back in the 4 productions of Lucia di Lammermoor that we've done before, some could say some were more traditional than others, but all of them were an interpretation of the resonant themes of that. Now, it is true to say that sometimes people come in with a sense, well, this is not set in Scotland, and so this isn't something I'm going to like. Lucia, in so many ways, it's such a shocking story. It surprises me sometimes when people say, well, I don't want to be reminded of the problems of a contemporary society. Lucia is full of the problems of a contemporary society. These are fundamental human challenges, and this just kind of brings that incredible thrill of it into a sense of immediacy for our audiences.
Why would somebody who is more interested in traditional productions come to see this Lucia? Why would they take a risk and take a chance on a new production?
I think the answer is really twofold. One is the foundation of the music. This is one of the greatest opera scores ever written. It requires such superhuman, extraordinary, world-class singing. I mean, Lucia is one of the hardest roles in the entirety of the canon, and we have two of the finest singers in the world here with us to interpret that incredible role. This incredible score played by one of the greatest opera orchestras in America, sung by one of the greatest choruses in America, all conducted by our new resident conductor, Lina González-Granados, making her debut with us. It's such an exciting moment for the company. It's such an exciting moment for the community. And then the second reason really requires a little bit of a leap of faith. But I would argue that what Simon Stone and his creative team have done is as resonant a production, as memorable a production, as reverent towards the text of a production as anything that we have ever put on our stage. when you kind of look at the aesthetics, you may think, well, that's potentially off-putting. This is someone who wants to impose their will on this piece. But again, we want to make sure that this person is actually elevating, is reverent towards the text and is lifting it up. People, I think, will be surprised. I heard this from a lot of audiences in New York who said this is one of their favorite opera productions that they've ever experienced because of that real sense of discovery, that sense of visceral thrill, that sense of immediacy of this production. It's worth taking a leap of faith on.
Wonderful. Well, I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to speak with you about this season's Donizetti's Lucia di Lammermoor. I'm excited to see it, and I want to thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much. A real pleasure to talk about this production. We're very excited.